Hi everyone, so today I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this cute minion cake. It's super easy, super fast, anyone can do it. And so I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I put this minion cake together. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first thing, I have 3 6-inch cakes right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and just assemble it on my 8-inch board. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and just put some buttercream on my cake board just to act as glue so that my cake doesn't move around. And I'm just going to go ahead and just start stacking. And I'm just going to go ahead and use buttercream for my filling as well as my frosting outside of my cake. And I don't want too much filling. So just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my next layer on. And then just repeat the process and then show you what it looks like. Now that I have my cake all stacked up, I'm just going to go ahead and just do a light crumb coat on my cake. And again, this is just so that when I do my final frosting, I don't have crumbs all over the place. And I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around my cake. Okay, so now that I have my cake all crumb coated, I'm going to go ahead and place this into the freezer just for it to set. And then once it's all set, I'm going to go ahead and take it out and start frosting it. So let me just go ahead and place this in the freezer. I have some Rice Krispies that I made, and it's settled a little bit, so it's not as so it's a little bit more sticky. What I'm going to do is I've decided to use Rice Krispie for the dome of my cake, for the top of the minion head. So I'm just going to go ahead and just take some, and this is on a 6-inch board, just so I know how big and how wide to do the head, because I don't want it to be too big. But I'm just going to go ahead and just shape it like this. And the reason why I'm using Rice Krispies is because I'm actually taking this over to my sister, and her son has to eat gluten-free stuff, and so at least he can eat this part of the minion. So let me just go ahead and shape this up and then show you what it looks like in a little bit. Okay, so now that I have my dome all shaped up and it's about as even as the 6-inch board, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this over to some plastic wrap, and I'm going to wrap this up really tight. And I'm gonna go ahead and stick this into the fridge to settle. So that way it'll be a lot easier for me to frost. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick this into the fridge. Okay, so now that I have both out from the freezer, I'm just gonna go ahead and just stick a little bit of buttercream on top. That way I can stick my dome on the top of my cake. Just like that. And I just want to make sure that it's even. And then I can go ahead and just start frosting my cake. And this is just a yellow buttercream. And it's by Wilton. It's Wilton food coloring gel that I'm using for this color. And I'm just going to go ahead and just frost my whole cake. And I'm just going to go ahead and start on the top and then work my way down. Okay, so I'm almost done with the cake. And I'm just working my way down on the bottom here. And I'm just starting from side to side. And I'm also making sure that I don't use a lot of frosting, because my family doesn't like a lot of frosting on the cake. And this is my first minion cake that I'm doing, so hopefully it turns out good. So I don't know what the outcome is going to look like yet, but okay. So now that I have my cake all frosted, so it's actually a pretty tall cake. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and work on smoothing it out. And I'm just smoothing out the top here. And I may have to use some hot water on my spatula just so that I can get it a little bit more smoother. And so, but this looks good for now. Okay, so I'm just taking some wax paper and I just cut a little bit off, and that way I could just go ahead and smooth off my dome a little bit. And so I'm just going back and smoothing out the top of my minion head. Okay, so just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this into the freezer for it to set just a little bit, and then we can start decorating them. I've just taken out my cakes from the freezer, and I've already traced where I want my eyeballs, the mouth, and also the overalls. So I have blue buttercream, and it's fitted with a I don't know what kind of tip this is. This is not Wilton, but you can use any tip you want. I'm just gonna outline the overalls here, and it doesn't have to be perfect or anything because I'm still gonna smooth it out, but I wanted to work on the bottom first before I did the top. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the overalls just like that, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and come all the way around my cake. Just like that. And so that's going to be the shape of my overalls. And then all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and just try and fill all this in and then smooth it out. So let me just go ahead and do this part and then show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back and smooth out my blue frosting on my cake, and I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around until I get a smooth surface on my blue frosting. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and come back into my cakes. If you can see, I already have my bottom part all smoothed out. So now I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my eyes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start on my goggles. So, and this is just regular white buttercream frosting on a circle tip. And I'll do that, and then I'll just smooth it out. So just like that, I just want to make sure that I have enough space for my goggles. And then I'll go ahead and smooth that out. Okay, so I'm coming back around and doing my eye goggles, and I'm just gonna go ahead and with some gray buttercream with the same circle tip, I'm just gonna go ahead and trace around my eyeball. Just like that. And then I can go ahead and start putting on the details on the goggles and the eye pupil. I have some black buttercream this time, and it's fitted with a basket weave tip. This is a Wilton 47, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the straps for the goggles. And I've already traced around it so I know where to put it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start from the edge here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and come across. Just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. Just right underneath it. Just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and switch out my tip. And I just have it in a coupler, so it's a lot easier for me to switch out. And I'm just gonna go ahead and switch it off with a small circle tip so that I can do his eyeballs. And I want him to be a little bit crazy here. Okay, so just like that. for right now. And I have the blue buttercream in the same tip that I had before. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the straps for his overalls here. And it's just gonna go ahead and come around just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same. Just like that. Get it as even as I can. You can see I have one of his arms and also his shoes on, as well as his pocket. I'm gonna go ahead, I don't have a tip or anything on my yellow buttercream, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the other arm here. And at this point, I'm not really concerned if it's perfect or not, as far as where his arms are. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like that. I'm gonna go ahead and come around with my black buttercream, and it's in a circle tip, and do his gloves. Just like that. And then let me just go ahead and switch out my tip and then finish off with his mouth and his hair. Okay, so I've put the hair on half of his head, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other half. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it off with a smile. Just like that. Okay, so this is the final piece of what my minion cakes looks like. So hopefully you guys like my tutorial. If you guys have any comments, just go ahead and leave it down below. So overall, this is actually my first minion cake, and so hopefully you guys like my tutorial. Don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe. Thanks for watching, you guys.